Live from Burnsville, Minnesota, Post 22 Baseball is finally on the air. Today was filled with delays with a marathon 16-12 game earlier in pool play of the 2018 Gopher Classic and also braving the elements as well. And now it looks like we're ready to rock and roll here for the first game of the Gopher Classic for Post 22 Baseball. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and this is a very interesting setup we have for all of us here at Burnsville's site of the Gopher Classic. There is no press box. There is no broadcast booth. We are currently sitting fence side, third base side, at our field here in Burnsville. The dimension's very interesting as well. It's 310 to both corners and 350 to dead center field. And not a lot of long balls hitting the game that we got to watch earlier between Stillwater and Chanhassen. But we'll see just exactly how the Post 22 offense fares when they come up to the plate in just a few moments. Post 22 comes into this matchup with a 38-8 record. The last action that they saw was against the West Coast Zephyrs out of Scottsbluff, Nebraska, in which Zach Sumption got the win. His first of the season getting the start. 10-2 was the final, and Sumption went the distance, pitching all 7 innings, struck out a pair and walked 1. But he only allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, and I think that's the more important thing to take away instead of just the 2 strikeouts to the 1 walk. And he did it on 70 pitches, too, so averaging about 10 pitches an inning for the lengthy 7-inning start. Just fine for him. Post 22 getting set to take on Stillwater, who just won their first game of pool play here in the Gopher Classic. 3-2 was the final score over Chanhassen, what looked like to be a very highly contested back-and-forth affair. Chanhassen played earlier today against the host in Burnsville, and that was not only a marathon because of rain, but also because of offense. Both teams just simply wouldn't quit at the plate. 16-12 was the final score for Chanhassen, and they took their win in Game 1, but then fell to Stillwater in Game 2. So only 3 teams have played, with Stillwater as the only undefeated one at 1-0. Chanhassen is even at a win and a loss, and Burnsville started off with a loss in their first game of pool play. The other teams in this pool feature the Hardhats, a team from Rochester and a team from Green Bay. So Post 22 looking at some diverse competition. 3 teams from the state of Minnesota and 1 from Wisconsin. Later today, after the Hardhats take on Stillwater, Rochester will take on Green Bay, and then Burnsville will get the nightcap as the host to this site. And they'll also take on Green Bay as well. Post 22 going with the normal lineup. Normal for our standards, at least, for the last couple of games. Dylan Ritchie has the nod on the mound, but we won't see him pitch until the bottom half of this first inning. Every team's position on the scoreboard, if you will, has already been determined. If you look at the schedule, Post 22 is listed as the away side for this one, so they will bat in the top halves of our 7 innings of this matchup. Now, because the earlier game was a marathon and because weather was a factor, what I believe I overheard correctly from the coaching staff was there will be a courtesy runner allowed for catchers, and there will be a hard 2-hour limit, 2-hour time limit to this game. So, meaning that you can't start a new inning after 2 hours of baseball has been played. It's interesting with the way that Coach Torvey was talking about that, and the way I started thinking when he told me that, was that the way that Post 22 has played 7-inning baseball games, I don't see it going to 2 hours. That they've hit on an average of about 80 to 100 minutes of baseball when it comes to 7-inning play. So unless this is an absolute slugfest and they decide to try and go extras, I don't see this going 2 hours for either side. Stillwater, obviously a very competent baseball team. I was told earlier in the week slated as number 1 in the state of Minnesota, so this will be highly contested nonetheless. Obviously, Post 22 coming into this game at 38-8. So, again, with both of these teams, maybe if it's very, very low scoring, which I wouldn't be surprised to see, then they'll have the 2-hour limit as a potential problem. But this should be a great day of baseball. The amateur meteorology report gives us 74 degrees, cloudy skies here at Burnsville. But outside of this morning showers, we haven't, and knock on wood, won't see anything later in this matchup. Well, as I mentioned, Stillwater has been drawn as the home team for this game, so they are about to take the field in just a few moments. So let's go ahead and give you the starting lineup for the Post-22 Hardhats and their batting order as follows in the top halves of our 7 innings for today's game. Leading off for Post-22 is number 13, Connor King. He's patrolling center field. Batting second is number 21, Matt Hegre. He's in the hot corner at third base. Batting third is number 22, Cooper Bowman out at shortstop. And in the cleanup position for the Hardhats is number 23, Jack Sorensen, and he'll serve as the designated hitter. Batting fifth is number 30, Jace Caldwell, playing out at first base. Batting sixth is number 15, Zach Sumption. He's patrolling right field. Batting seventh is number 20, Holden Jackson, patrolling left field. Batting eighth is number 25, Ryan Schmidt, the backstopper and catcher. And rounding out the batting order in the 9th spot for the Hardhats is number 12, Mason Messenger, and he is out at second base. Jay Hausen is right arm on the mound for Stillwater. He'll take on the Hardhats here in this top half of the first, with King, Hegre, and Bowman scheduled to hit. Defensive alignment for Stillwater has Hausen as right arm on the mound, paired up with the catcher, Cody Vensky. At first is Will Frisch. At second is Nick Seaman. At shortstop is Matthew McGinley. And in the hot corner at third is Mitchell Novak. Left to right in the outfield, Noah Potter, Drew Gilbert, and Twanson Dufresne. Connor King, the only lefty in the Hardhats order, is slated to hit first for Post-22. If all things go according to plan here at the early stages, we should begin this game at about 2:33 Central, so 1:33 back home in Rapid City. According to the schedule, and granted, yes, we did get delayed, the Hardhats were supposed to have started playing about an hour and a half ago. And now that the delays are over and baseball has been played prior, we're ready for this matchup. That's about to start. Connor King steps in, the only lefty in the lineup for the Hardhats, against Hawes, the right-handed pitcher. So this will be his only mismatch in this game. Here is his first pitch. That's a ball low, 1-0 to King, and we are officially underway at 2:33 Central Time. Ball and no strikes the count here to King, and the 1-0. This is low. 2 balls, no strikes. You're going to have to be patient with me here, folks, because we don't have a scoreboard to help out, so I'm trying to keep everything manually tracked. 2-0, called strike inside. That'll be 2-1 now to King. And I'm third base side, so my view of the plate is occluded by both the fence and by misdirection. 2-1, rides upstairs. 3 balls and a strike now to King. We're in the top of a scoreless first inning between Stillwater and Post-22. Game 1 of the Gopher Classic here in Minnesota. Here is the 3-1. And that's low for ball 4, and Connor King will walk to first to lead off. That'll now bring up Matt Hegre in the order. Hegre this season batting .336 on the year. Hawes checks King over at first, and the first pitch rides upstairs for ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Hegre. King on first, leads the team in bases on balls this season. So no surprise he led off with a walk. 1-0. Misses low. 2 balls, no strikes to Hegre. Hegre has King on first. No one out here in the top of a scoreless first inning. Post-22 taking on Stillwater in Game 1 of pool play at the Burnsville site here in the Gopher Classic. 2-0. Called strike right at his knees, and that'll be a 2 balls and 1 strike count to the Hardhats third baseman. Two balls, 1 strike. Hawes checks King over at first. He takes his lead, and the 2-1. Swung on, ball is hit into the shallow part of right field. That's a base hit, and King will stop at second. Hegre will take first. So Matt Hegre gets the first hit of the ball game. He goes opposite field. King now in scoring position at second. That'll put men on first and second for Cooper Bowman. Bowman batting .480 on the season, and with runners in scoring position, .532. Bowman, the righty, steps in against Hawes. Hegre on first, King on second, still no one out. You're in the top of a scoreless first inning. He shows bunt but pulls back, and the pitch is low for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Cooper Bowman. Looking to give the Hardhats a first win in their first game of the Gopher. Ball and no strikes to count. Haas takes a look at King. And the 1-0 comes inside. 2 balls, no strikes to Bowman. Didn't show bunt that time. Kept the bat on his shoulder. 2-0. Haas pitching from the stretch. Quick look to King at second. 2-0. Misses low. 3 balls, no strikes to count to Bowman. Bowman a pitch away from a 4-pitch walk, and that'll be the second one issued in the early stages of this inning. Haas a look to second. And the 3-0. Called strike right at the belt of Bowman. And it's 3-1. Still scoreless. Bowman with men on first and second and no one out here in the top of the first. Just started playing 3 minutes ago. 3 balls and a strike to count. Haas deals. Low for ball 4. And that'll load up the bases for the cleanup man, Jack Sorensen. King to third, Hegre to second. Bowman trots to first. Every base is occupied. And now Jack Sorensen comes up. Sorensen with runners in scoring position, batting .313 on the season. No one out as well. Every base occupied. Very favorable scenario for him. First pitch, rides upstairs. Ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Sorensen. And now Venski, the catcher, goes to Haas and has a quick word. Sorensen overall on the season batting .361. 32 singles, 4 doubles, 5 triples, and twice he's left the ballpark. He's also knocked in 41, which ranks 3rd on the team behind Jace Caldwell and Cooper Bowman. Bowman at the top. Ball and no strikes to count to Sorensen. Every base occupied, so if he walks, there's nowhere to put him. It'll bring in a run. Next pitch, swung on, hit high in the air. Foul. Still in the field to play. And unable to make the catch was Haas off the mound, right in front of the Hardhats dugout. Took a bad spin on him towards the end. Ball and a strike to count to Sorensen. Got away with one there and has a second life. 1-1 to Sorensen with every base occupied. No one out here in the top of the first. Haas from the stretch. Checks to third. And back safely is King. Not often you see the check down to third, but there it is. King was not asleep at the switch. Doesn't turn into a base running gaff. Still waiting on the 1-1 here. Haas about to throw a 17th pitch of the inning. And the pitch. Called strike right at his knees. Ball and 2 strikes now to Sorensen. This would be a colossal first out for Stillwater if they can get strike 3 here. Ball and 2 strikes to Sorensen. And the pitch. Swung on, and that ball is ripped into left field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. 1 run's going to score, and that's all the Hardhats will get out of it. An RBI single for Jack Sorensen at post 22, strikes first. It has a 1-0 lead with bases still loaded and no one out here in the top of the first. That'll now bring up Jace Caldwell, another lethal threat for post 22. Caldwell steps in against Haas. 1-0 now the Hardhats lead. And first pitch. Misses low and away, 1-0. Run on 2 hits so far for post 22. No errors charged to Stillwater. Ball and no strikes to count to Caldwell. And the 1-0. Swung on, and ball is hit to deep short. Stop is made on the play, and nothing else will come of it. Matt Hegre comes in to score an RBI infield hit for Caldwell. And now the Hardhats lead is 2-0, with still no one out and every base occupied here in the top of the first. Hegre comes in to score, and now Zach Sumption, the right fielder, comes up with a chance to keep the train going. First pitch. Swung on, and the ball's fouled third base side. 0-1. Zach Sumption on the season, batting .308. And with runners in scoring position, batting .321. Bases loaded for the Hard Hat right fielder. Still no one out here in the top of the first. 2-0 the Hard Hats lead. And it's 0-1. Buzzes the tower high and inside, 1-1. Ball and a strike the count here to Sumption. And the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled to the high meshing behind home plate. Ball and 2 strikes now to Sumption. Only the second 2-strike count that Hawes has in this inning. Now working on his 24th pitch. Hawes gets the signal from our home plate umpire at play ball. From the stretch, 1-2. Swung on and fought off foul. Sumption stays alive. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Every base occupied. Caldwell on first with the RBI infield hit. Jack Sorensen on second with an RBI single. And Cooper Bowman on third with a walk. There's a 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And Sumption goes down on strikes. First out of the inning. That'll bring up the left fielder, Holden Jackson. Every base still occupied. Jackson steps in, right-handed batter. Oz again from the stretch. Here's his first pitch. And that misses low, 1-0. Ball and no strikes to count here to Jackson. And the 1-0. Swung on and missed. Count evens up at a ball and a strike for Holden Jackson. Jace Caldwell on first, Jack Sorensen on second, Cooper Bowman on third. 1 out here in the top of the first, and the Hard Hats have an early 2-0 lead on 3 hits. Next pitch, swung on, chopped foul, third base side. 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes now to Jackson. Hawes comes set from the stretch, and the 1-2. Swung on, ball is lined into left field. That'll drop for a base hit. 1 run's going to come in to score, and once again the bases will remain loaded. A 1-out RBI single for Holden Jackson, and the Hard Hats lead is now 3-0 with 1 out and every base occupied here in the top of the first. Sorensen advances to third, Caldwell to second. Bowman came in to score. That'll bring up the catcher, Ryan Schmidt, with 1 out and every base occupied here in the top of the first. It's now a 3-0 Hard Hats lead. First pitch swung on and missed. Low pitch there, 0-1. 3 runs, 4 hits for post 22. Still 1 out here in the top of the first. 0-1. Swung on and missed. No, excuse me, foul tipped. 0-2. Hard to see the batters follow through with this fence in the way. No balls, 2 strikes to count to Schmidt. Hawes in the driver's seat on the mound. 0-2. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air, left field side. And catch is made on the play by Potter in left. Tagging up and coming in to score is Sorensen. A sac fly RBI for Ryan Schmidt. And post 22's lead is now 4-0 as Sorensen comes in. 2 outs, men on first and second. And that'll bring up Mason Messenger. Messenger comes up, right-handed batter, and his first pitch, swung on and fouled. 0-1. The elements are starting to kill us over here. Boy, this is fun. No balls and a strike to count to Messenger, and the next pitch is hit high in the air to second. Catch is made, and that'll end the inning. Well, the Hardhats bat through the lineup, and they get 4 runs on 4 hits. No errors charged to Stillwater, and 2 men left on base. We've played half an inning of baseball. Post 22's off to a 4-0 lead. When we come back, Dylan Ritchie will get on the mound and lead the Hardhats on defense in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Post 22 now switches from offense to defense and will begin their defense here in the bottom half of the first inning, currently up on a 4-0 lead on Stillwater. Let's take a look at the Stillwater batting order. Leading off is the catcher, number 20, Cody Vensky. Batting second is number 5, Mitchell Novak. He's in the hot corner at third base. Batting third is number 1, Drew Gilbert, patrolling center field. In the cleanup spot is number 17, Will Frisch, and he's out at first. Batting fifth is number 15, Matthew McGinley, out at shortstop. Batting sixth is the starting pitcher, number 11, Jay Hawes. Batting seventh is number 2, Nick Seaman, playing second base. Batting eighth is number 19, Noah Potter, patrolling left field. Rounding out the batting order in the ninth spot is number 3, Twanson Dufresne, patrolling right field. Dylan Ritchie steps on the mound. Cody Vensky, the catcher. Leadoff is a lefty, and the first pitch is low and skips to the backstop. 1-0 the starting count to the Stillwater backstopper. Post 22 up 4-0. Here now in the bottom half of the first. 1-0, misses low. 2 balls, no strikes the count now from Richie Davensky. Two balls and no strikes the count. Richie sets and is 2-0. Misses low. 3 balls, no strikes. Three balls, no strikes to count here from Richie Davensky. And here comes the 3-0. Called strike right at his knees. 3-1. The element's now a little bit of a factor as it's just misting here at Burnsville. 3 balls and a strike, and the pitch is low for ball 4. And Vensky leads off with a walk here in the bottom half of the first. Man on first with no one out. That'll bring up Mitchell Novak, the third baseman. Novak steps in. Right-handed batter against the righty and Ritchie. Man on first, no one out, bottom of the first. First pitch is a ball outside, 1-0. 1-0 to Novak with a man on first and no one out. Hardhats looking to protect a 4-0 lead early stages of this ballgame. 1-0 misses low. Schmidt gets the stop. No movement to second. 2 balls, no strikes to count. Ritchie with a few control issues starting off. Two balls and no strikes. And Ritchie's pitch is low. 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes to count. Ritchie having trouble finding the zone early. Ritchie sets, looks to the man on first, and the 3-0. Called strike. Right at the knees, it's 3-1. So 2 batters in a row. He starts off 3-0, comes back with a strike. Ritchie looks over to first and now sets. 3-1. Called strike. Right at his knees, and now the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Richie looking for that big first K. And the payoff. Swung on, ball's chopped to short. Bowman the stop on the run, looks to first, and the throw is low, but it's in time. Advancing to second was Venske. He was going on the pitch. So 1 out with a man in scoring position here for Stillwater. That'll bring up Drew Gilbert, the center fielder. Gilbert, a lefty, steps in. Richie looking in for a sign, taking his time, and now he agrees on one. Richie a look to second, and the first pitch. Swung on, ball is hit high in the air to shallow right. Coming in from right is Sumption, and he makes the catch. 4 out, number 2. 2 down with a man on second brings us to Will Frisch, the first baseman. Frisch, a right-handed batter, steps in against the righty and Richie. So only 2 mismatches so far at the 1 and 3 spots for the hard hat pitcher. Richie looks to second. First pitch. Breaking ball low. 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count. And Richie's 1-0. Misses low. Schmidt gets the block. 2 balls and no strikes. Richie looks to second. 2-0. Missed low. 3 balls, no strikes. Richie working on his 16th pitch, trying to avoid a second walk. 2 outs and a man on second. And the 3-0 misses low for ball 4. Second walk of the inning for Richie. Comes with 2 outs, and it puts men on first and second. Bring out Matthew McGinley, the shortstop. Ryan Schmidt comes out to have a quick word with his starter, and if there's any silver lining to that, that means that there's a force at all 3 bases. You only need to get 1 more to get out of the inning. Post 22 has a 4-0 lead here in the bottom half of the first. 2 outs and men on first and second now for Stillwater. McGinley steps in. Richie with 2 walks in the inning. Had some control trouble early on. 17th pitch, here's the first one to McGinley. That's a called strike. First time that Richie started off with a first pitch strike in this inning. 0-1. No balls and a strike to count. Richie a double take to second. 0-1. Misses low. Schmidt gets the block. And the count evens up at a ball and a strike. One and one now the count. Richie looks to second. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball just missed upstairs. 2-1. Richie trying to get out of the inning. 2 outs, men on first and second here for Stillwater. Post 22 trying to protect a 4-0 lead. 2-1. Fouled back. Right into the fence behind home plate. 2-2. If Richie could get his first K of the start, it would end the first inning and protect a 4-0 post 22 lead. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Richie sets, looks to second. 2-2. Missed low on a breaking pitch, and the count will go full. Full count. Very important payoff pitch. Richie sets, Looks to second. Here comes the payoff. Swung on and fouled. And McGinley stays alive at a full count. Ritchie about to throw his 23rd pitch. Looking to end the inning. The next pitch is ball 4, though. We'll keep going with Jay Hawes, his pitching counterpart, on deck. Payoff number 2. Swung on and fouled again. Lather, rinse, repeat. Count remains full. Payoff pitch number 3 now coming up. And Ritchie deals. Breaking ball, too high. And another 2-out walk issue. That will load up the bases and bring us to Hawes, the pitcher. And now the pitching coordinator at Post 22, Ryan Clapperich, is going to come out and have a quick word with Ritchie and Schmidt. Post 22 has a 4-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. Bases are loaded. There's 2 outs. And Jay Hawes, the pitcher, now comes up. Post 22 batted through the order in the first inning with the first 4 men that reached base coming across to serve as the 4 runs. King walked, Hegre singled, Bowman walked, Sorensen hit an RBI single, Caldwell then hit an RBI single, followed by a Zach Sumption strikeout. Holden Jackson an RBI single, Ryan Schmidt a sac fly RBI, and the Mason Messenger popped out to second. Hawes steps in, a righty against Ritchie. Bases are loaded, 2 outs, the Hardhats looking to protect their 4-0 lead. And the first pitch comes inside to Hawes, 1-0. Bottom half of the first inning, game 1 of the Gopher Classic for the Hardhats. Here's the 1-0. Called, strike. Fastball right at the knees, it's 1-1. Ball and a strike now, the count. Ritchie agrees on a sign, now he's set. 1-1. Breaking ball just missed. 2 balls and a strike to count out of Hawes. Ritchie sets again. 2-1. Swung on, ball's lined high in the air to left center field. It has some legs, it has the distance, it's off the wall. 2 runs are going to come in to score. Now trying for a third. Bowman home, not in time. A bases clearing, 2-out RBI double for the pitcher at Hawes. And now Stillwater is down 1. It's 4-3. McGinley came all the way from first to get that big 3rd run in the sequence. And now that's going to bring up Nick Seaman, the second baseman. Man on second, 2 outs. Post 22 is an out away from 4-0. And now all of a sudden the deficit is 4-3 for Stillwater. First pitch, a fastball upstairs, 1-0. That's the only hit of the inning so far for Stillwater, too. All 3 runs that came across reached by virtue of the walk. 30th pitch of the inning here for Ritchie. And the 1-0. Swung on and missed. Siemens count now, a ball and a strike. Noah Potter, the left fielder, is on deck if we get that far. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Now the Hardhats lead has been cut to 4-3. Ritchie's 1-1. Swung on and fouled behind home plate. Over the fence, it's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes the count. One-two pitch. Caught him looking, strike 3. And that'll end the bottom half of the first. Well, Stillwater mounted quite the counter-offensive. 3 runs on just a hit. No errors charged to the Hardhats and a man stranded in scoring position. We have played 1 inning of baseball, and Post 22's lead was 4-0. Now all of a sudden, It's been cut to 4-3. We'll be right back with the top of the Hard Hats order in just a few moments here in the top of the second on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. One inning of baseball has been played here at the Burnsville site of the 2018 Gopher Classic for the Post 22 Hard Hats, and right now their lead after one inning stands at 4-3. Dylan Ritchie threw 32 pitches in that first inning. His counterpart, Jay Hawes, who came up with a huge bases-clearing RBI double with the bases loaded, has thrown 34, and he is back on the mound to take on the entire order once again. He saw them all once in the first. So now here's Connor King right back at the top. King walked in his first meeting against Haas, and the first pitch is high and away, 1-0. King represented the first run of the entire ball game. And here's a 1-0. Upstairs again, 2 balls, no strikes. Both pitchers having some control issues here in these first couple of innings. In the first inning, they both combined for 66 pitches. 2-0, called strike. 2-1. Two balls and a strike the count. And the pitch is swung on. Hit foul territory. And it's out of play. 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes to count. And the pitch. Missed low. Count goes full to King. And the payoff is high and inside, ball 4. And King, for his second time in this ball game, draws a leadoff walk. Matt Heggery now steps in. He's 1 for 1 against Haas. Heggery singled, came around to score. Man on first, no one out, and his first pitch is too far up high. 1-0. Ball and no strikes to Heggery. And the pitch. He shows bunt, drops it right back to the mound. Hawes looks to second, throw, not in time. Connor King just got there. Cooper Bowman now comes up. With men on first and second. Bowman walked the first time he was up. Hawes looks to King at second. And the first pitch misses low. 1-0. Ball and no strikes now to the hard hat shortstop. Post 22 is a 4-3 lead here in the top of the second. And the next pitch is swung on, chopped by the third baseman and into left for a base hit. King rounds third. He's going to come in to score. Bowman slams on his brakes as he rounds first. And he stops with an RBI single, and now the Hard Hats lead is 5-3. Still with no one out, and men on first and second here in the top of the second. That's going to bring up Jack Sorensen. Sorensen, 1-for-1 with an RBI single. And he scored a run, too. Shows bunt, and they say he went. 0-1. No balls and a strike to Sorensen. Hawes looks to second at Hegre. And the 0-1 swung on, balls hit up the middle. Stop made it short to second for 1, to first for 2, and they get it. 6 unassisted, 3 double play. We'll move Hegre to third. 2 outs now in the inning. That'll bring us to Jace Caldwell, the first baseman, who also has an RBI single under his belt. 5-3 the Hardhats lead. 2 outs, a man on third here in the top of the second. First pitch to Caldwell. Called strike. 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and fouled. 0-2. Oz already has a strikeout. That belongs to Zach Sumption, and he's on deck. 0-2 now to Caldwell. And he deals. Fastball high and away, 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes now the count. And the pitch. High and inside, 2-2 now to the Hardhat first baseman. Two-two. Swung on, ball is hit to short. McGinley gets the stop between his legs. And the throw to first is in time, and that'll end it. Well, the Hardhats pick up another run in the inning. 1 run on 2 hits. No errors charged to Stillwater. And a man stranded 90 feet from home. Inning and a half of baseball has been played here in the first game of pool play for Post 22 in the 2018 Gopher Classic. They have a 5-3 lead as we come to the bottom of the second. 8-9-1 slated to hit for Stillwater. We'll be back with that and more in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Time now for the bottom half of the second inning. Here at the Burnsville site of the 2018 Gopher Classic. Post 22 has a 5-3 lead over Stillwater. Stillwater played moments ago against Chanhassen and won by a narrow 3-2 score. Which I say narrow because Chanhassen played an all but a narrow game in Game 1, beating Burnsville 16-12. You go from 28 combined runs to just 5. That is quite the difference. Noah Potter, the left fielder, leads off here for Stillwater. Bottom half of the second, the Hardhats up 2. And the first pitch from Richie is a ball, 1-0. Richie threw 32 pitches in the first inning. Team had a 4-0 lead with the bases loaded, 2 outs, but he couldn't get out of the jam. Here's the 1-0 to Potter. Called strike. And the count will even up at 1-1. Potter, Twanson, Dufresne, the right fielder, back to the top to Cody Vensky, the catcher. Ball and a strike now, the count to Potter. And the pitch is low. 2-1. Post 22 up 5-3. And the next pitch is ball again. 3 balls and a strike now to Potter. Richie from the stretch. And the 3-1. Called strike. And the count now goes full. Three balls, 2 strikes to Potter. Richie still looking for his second K. 3-2, swung on and missed. And there's that second strikeout. One up, one down for Stillwater here in the bottom of the second. That's not going to bring us to Twanson Dufresne, the right fielder. First pitch from Richie. Missed low. 1-0. Richie's only started off once with a first pitch strike in this start. Normally has more control. Today he's still trying to find it. 1-0. They drop bunt. Schmidt fields it from in front of home plate. No, they're calling it foul. Must have hit home plate. Count of leaving up at a ball and a strike. Schmidt had it well fielded, though. I think as long as the throw was accurate, it would have been out number 2. So it'll be 1-1 now to Dufresne. Richie shakes off a sign from Schmidt. Now it comes to an agreement. Here's a 1-1. Breaking ball upstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Two and 1 the count. Base path empty here for Dufresne. 1 out. Bottom of the second. 5-3 the Hardhats lead. And the next pitch just misses outside. 3-1 now to Dufresne. Richie has walked 3 in this start. He's a pitch away from number 4. And the 3-1 is flared off foul. First base side now to play, and now the count goes full. Back-to-back full counts in this inning here for Richie, who is about to throw his 44th pitch in just the bottom half of the second with 1 out. Here is the payoff. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air. Shallow right. Sumption looks like he's underneath it, and he makes the catch for out number 2. That'll bring us all the way to the top of the order to Cody Vensky, the catcher. He walked and scored the first run for Stillwater as part of that 3-run bases clearing RBI double with 2 outs. Credited to Hawes. First pitch is upstairs. 1-0. Ball and no strikes to Vensky. 2 outs, base path empty here, bottom of the second. 5-3 the Hardhats lead. And the 1-0 is low. 2 balls, no strikes. He was also the first of 3 Dylan Richie walks in this game. 2-0. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to right. Sumption is on the run towards the fence, and it is gone over the right field wall. And Stillwater is back within 1. It's 5-4. Two hits on the ball game for Stillwater, and all of them have come with 2 outs. And all of them have knocked in runs. More 2-out offense from Stillwater. The Hardhats lead is now 5-4. And that'll bring us to Mitchell Novak, the third baseman. Again, the dimensions of this field, as I talked about briefly before first pitch, 310 to the corners and 350 to dead center. Might as well be a hat box. First pitch. Swung on, ball's flared high in the air to right field. Sumption on the run, watches the ball drop in front of him. That'll be a 2-out single. So Mitchell Novak gets on the base path. And that'll bring up Drew Gilbert, the left-handed hitting center fielder. Gilbert is 0 for 1. With a fly out to right. 5-4 is now the Hardhats lead, tying runs on the base path. First pitch. Swung on, ball's hit. And caught in left field foul territory, and that'll end it. Well, it's a run on a hit. No errors charged to the Hardhats, and a man left on first. We've played 2 innings of baseball, and Post 22 still has the lead, but once again, it's cut down to 1 run. 5-4 as we head into the 3rd inning of play. Hardhats will send Sumption, Jackson, and Schmidt to the batter's box when we come back in just a few moments on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. 2 innings of baseball have been played here at the Burnsville site of day 1 of the Gopher Classic. Post 22 still holds on to a 5-4 lead after 2 innings against Stillwater, Minnesota. Numbers across the board for the Hardhats. It's 5 runs, 6 hits, and no errors charged on defense. And for Stillwater, it's 4 runs on 2 hits and no errors in the field. Zach Sumption leads off the top of the 3rd for post 22, and he looks at a pitch high and inside. 1-0 his count. 0 for 1 his stat line. He is the only strikeout issued by Haas in this start. 1-0 lined into left center field, and that ball is caught on the play by Gilbert in center. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats, and that'll now bring us to Holden Jackson, the left fielder. 1 for 1 with an RBI single under his belt. Haas will go full windup against Jackson. Righty on righty matchup. First pitch. Swung on and missed. 0-1 the count to Jackson. No balls in to strike the count. Empty base path for Jackson with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. And the 0-1. Called strike right at his knees. 0-2. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. That is strikeout number 2 for Haas and the 2nd out in this inning. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats. Now brings us to Ryan Schmidt with a sac fly RBI back in the top of the 1st. He immediately calls time right as Haas is about to throw. Haas right back to it, and the first pitch. Misses low. 1-0. Ball and 0 strikes the count here to Schmidt. Empty base path, 2 outs. Next pitch is swung on and missed. 1-1. Post 22 has a 5-4 lead here in the top of the 3rd. Started playing just about 45 minutes ago. 2:33 Central Time. 1-1, swung on and missed. Ball and 2 strikes. And here comes the 1-2. And that missed outside. 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and that will end the inning. Well, the Hardhats go down 1-2-3 in the top of the 3rd, which we all know means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. 2.5 innings in the books. Post 22 still has a 5-4 lead that they are looking to protect against Stillwater as they transition to defense in the bottom half of the 3rd. Be right back in just a few moments with the bottom of the 3rd here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. All set now for the bottom half of the 3rd inning here. Post 22 playing in their first game of the 2018 Gopher Classic against Stillwater, Minnesota. Earlier today, Chanhassen played against the site host Burnsville. And Chanhassen won that blowout shootout, if you will, 16-12. Both teams are just hitting the ball very well. And then Stillwater takes a 3-2 win against Chanhassen shortly after. A complete change of pace there for the Cavaliers. Stillwater has a 1-0 record in pool play, while Chanhassen's even at a win and a loss, and Burnsville, the host, is 0-1. After post 22 plays today, Rochester will take on a team from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and then Burnsville, the host, will get the nightcap against Green Bay as well. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, as Will Frisch, the first baseman, takes over for Stillwater, and he looks at a first pitch strike from Dylan Ritchie. No balls and a strike the count to start off. And the 0-1 misses low, 1-1. Ritchie just went over the 50 pitch mark. He's about to throw 52 now. Ball and a strike the count here to Frisch. And there's a called strike at his knees. It's 1-2. Ritchie has 2 strikeouts. A third would give him a first out on the leadoff man here in the bottom of the third. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, foul tipped into the glove for strike 3. And there is strikeout number 3 for Ritchie. 1 up, 1 down for post 22 on defense. Now brings us to Matt McGinley, the shortstop. McGinley walked and he scored in that 3-run bases clearing RBI double from Hawes. That gentleman stands on deck. First pitch, a breaking ball, just missed. 1-0. Next pitch from Ritchie will be number 55. Empty base path, 1 out, bottom of the third. And the next pitch is a called strike. 1-1 now to McGinley. Post 22 with a 5-4 lead, looking to keep it that way. 1-1. Swung on, ball's flared, foul, first base side, and Jace Caldwell will watch that go first base side and out of play. 1-2. Ritchie looking for back-to-back strikeouts. This one would be number 4 if he got it. 1-2. Breaking ball missed low, and the count will even up at 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count. And Ritchie's pitch misses low again, and the count goes full. Another full count. And Ritchie's payoff. Swung on and fouled. Off the paraphernalia of the gentleman behind home plate, and the count will remain full. Next pitch will be number 60 for Ritchie. Payoff number 2. Misses low, ball 4. Ritchie issues his 4th walk of the game. That'll put a man on first with 1 out, and it'll bring up Jay Hawes, the pitching counterpart of Ritchie. Hawes came up with that bases clearing RBI double back in the bottom of the first with the bases loaded. And his first pitch is outside, 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count. Ritchie looks to first at McGinley. And checks to first, but it's not there in time. Still a ball and no strikes here to Hawes. One, check swing, he didn't go. And McGinley stays put on first. Nice block from Schmidt, 2-0. Two balls, no strikes to count to Ritchie's pitching counterpart. There's a called strike on a fastball right at his knees. It's 2-1. 2 balls and a strike to count here to Hawes. Another check to first. They've got him in a rundown. Bowman comes from short. Now to Caldwell. Caldwell looking for a man. Falling down was McGinley, and he gets him. So it'll be a 1-3-6-3 rundown. Big second out there for post 22. 2 balls and a strike now the count here to Hawes. 1 out left for post 22. There's 2 down. 2 balls and a strike. Empty base path now for Stillwater. And the 2-1's a called strike on a breaking ball, and it's 2-2. Ritchie's 4th strikeout would put an end to the inning. Two-two pitch. Swung on, ball's hit to second. Messenger gets the scoop between his legs, throw to first in time, and that'll end it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and because of the rundown, nobody left on base for Stillwater. We've played 3 innings of baseball, and Post 22 still has a 5-4 lead. They look to expand upon that as they go back to the offensive here in the top of the 4th inning. We'll take a step aside, and when we come back, Mason Messenger will lead off in the 9-hole in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Tomorrow's action will see Post 22 play the 4th and 5th games of the day at 2:30 and 5 o'clock back home Rapid City time. Post 22 will take on Chanhassen first, and then they'll take on the host Burnsville shortly after. And then they won't play until Sunday, where they have the 8 a.m. local and 1 p.m. local games. By then, we should have more of a picture of who could potentially come out of the pool as we advance through the Gopher Classic. Here comes Hawes. On the mound still. First pitch to Messenger, misses low. 1-0. Messenger's 0 for 1. He popped out to his position at second. That ended top half of the first, in which the Hardhats played at 4 on 4 hits. Next pitch, a called strike at his knees. 1-1. Post 22 has 5 runs on 6 hits, no errors on defense. And Stillwater, 4 runs on a pair of hits with no errors. Top of the 4th as the next pitch hits him right in the bucket. And Messenger will advance to first on the hit by pitch. The leadoff man for Post 22 has reached base 3 out of 4 innings now, and all 3 times has been by a free pass. Connor King has walked twice, and now Mason Messenger hit by a pitch. That'll bring us back to the aforementioned King. Pair of walks under his belt, and both times he's come around to score. He right now is the game-winning run for the Hardhats if they hang on and win 5-4. First pitch, too far inside, 1-0. King, the most recent run Post 22 scored. That was back at the top of the 2nd when he was knocked in on an RBI single by Cooper Bowman. Took off from second and came in to score. Next pitch, he drops down the bunt. It comes to the third baseman, and the throw to first is in time as it advances Messenger to second. So Novak comes off a third. And he gets King out at first. Messenger now in scoring position with 1 out. And that's going to bring us to Matt Hegre. Hegre on the ball game is 2 for 2. Pair of singles under his belt. He's come around to score once. Last time he was on the base path, he was stranded at third. And his first pitch misses low and away, 1-0. Ball and no strikes to count to Hegre with Messenger in scoring position on second. 1 out, top of the 4th. The Hardhats are up 5-4 over Stillwater. 1-0, rides upstairs, 2-0. Two balls, no strikes now to Hegre, with Cooper Bowman patiently waiting in the on-deck circle. 2-0. Ball 3. Pitch missed high and away. 3-0. Three balls, no strikes to Hegre. First base is unoccupied, but second base is. Next pitch is fouled, and it goes out of play first base side. 3-1 out of Hegre. Messenger leads off a second. Hit by a pitch to get on the base path, and then Connor King sacrificed him over to second. Jay Hawes still on the mound for Stillwater. And his 3-1's low for ball 4. Hegre walks, and that'll put men on first and second for Cooper Bowman. Post 22 again up 5-4. Bowman on the ball game is 1 for 1. A walk, a run scored, and a ribby single to his credit. First and second. First pitch. Misses low. Betsky gets the stop behind home plate, and everybody stays put. 1-0 the count here to Bowman. Jack Sorensen on deck. He's also knocked a run in and scored a run. Hawes looks to Messenger at second. And the next pitch is low for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes to count here to Cooper Bowman. And now it looks like we're going to have a quick mound visit for Hawes. Hawes 2 pitches away from 75. He's at 73 right now. We're in the top of the 4th inning. The entire infield also in on this conference. Once again, Post 22 will play the last games tomorrow at 2:30 and 5 o'clock Mountain Time. So that's 3:30 and 6 local. And now it looks like we have a pitching change for Stillwater mid at bat. So we're going to take a step aside, give you everything you need to know in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. The day of Jay Hawes has come to an end on the mound for Stillwater. Zach Cowley's now going to take over after Hawes went 3 1/3, gave up 5 earned runs on 6 hits, struck out a trio, walked 4, hit a batter, and did it all on 73 pitches. Cooper Bowman still in the middle of his at-bat. It's 2 balls and no strikes, as Cowley, the right-hander, will go up against the hard-hat shortstop. Bowman has men on first and second with just 1 out here in the top of the 4th, and the Hardhats up 5-4. Cowley's first pitch misses low and away. That'll be 3-0 now to Bowman. Three balls and no strikes. Bowman's already walked once before in this game. And the 3-0. Misses low. It's ball 4. Bowman will walk for a second time. Cowley walks, and that's a very tough situation to be put into, especially mid-at-bat. And 2-0, you're already behind. That's a lot to come back from. So bases loaded, still 1 out. Here in the top of the 4th, and Jack Sorensen has a chance to try and blow it open for the Hardhats. 5-4 Post 22's lead over Stillwater. Cowley's first pitch, swung on and missed. 0-1 to Sorensen. Sorensen 1 for 2, RBI single, a run scored. He's also hitting with 6 unassisted, 3 double play. And the 0-1, breaking ball low and away. Everybody stays put, 1-1. Bowman on first, Hegre on second, Messenger on third. 1 out here in the top half of the 4th. Post 22 up 5-4 on Stillwater. Cowley will come from the stretch. And the pitch is low and inside. 2-1 now to Sorensen. There is nowhere to put Sorensen, so if he walks, a run will come in. 2 balls and a strike to count. Cowley from the stretch, righty on righty. 2-1 pitch. Swung on, and that ball's hit over the head of the shortstop and into the gap and left for a base hit. 1 run's going to come in to score. Here comes the second run as Jack Sorensen comes to second with a 2-run RBI double with an out here at the top of the 4th. Post 22's lead is now 7-4. Jack Sorensen 2 for 3, and every time he's hit, he has knocked in at least a run. Messenger in to score, Haggerty in to score, and Bowman over to third. 1 out, 2 men in scoring position here for Jace Caldwell. Post 22's lead now 7-4 over Stillwater. And the first pitch to Caldwell is low, 1-0. Jace Caldwell with runners in scoring position, batting .414 on the season. Very favorable scenario for him. 1 out, men on second and third. Next pitch, swung on, ball is hit right to short with the infield in. Ball's dropped for a brief moment, but the throw is in time. As McGinley gets it over to Frisch, that'll be 2 down. 2 down, men on second and third still, and that'll bring us to Zach Sumption, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a line out to center field. 2 outs, top of the 4th. It's a 7-4 Hardhats lead. Infield back to its normal depth here for Stillwater. First pitch. Low and away, and the ball goes to the backstop. Here comes Cooper Bowman home, and there won't be a play at the plate. 8-4 now the Hardhats lead. Bowman scoring on the wild pitch. Sorensen advances over to third. It'll be a ball and no strikes to Sumption with a man 90 feet to his left. Post 22, 3 runs on a hit in this inning. And overall in the ball game, 8 runs on 7 hits. No errors in the field. Cowley sets back. And the pitch. Swung on, ball is chopped to third. Stop is made on the play by Novak, and his throw to first is in time. And that will end the top half of the 4th. Post 22 adds 3 runs on a hit. No errors charged to Stillwater with a man left 90 feet from home. We have played exactly half the ball game here in Game 1 for Post 22 in pool play of the 2018 Gopher Classic. And Post 22's lead over Stillwater is now back to a 4-run advantage, and it's 8-4. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the bottom half of the 4th inning and the start of the second half of this game in just a few moments on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. All set now for the second half of this ball game as we're in the bottom half of the 4th of 7 innings of regulation. And as it stands, Post 22 has an 8-4 lead over Stillwater. Post 22, 8 runs, 7 hits, no errors on defense. And for Stillwater, it's 4 runs on a pair of hits and no errors. Thanks again for joining us, even though we were a tad bit off schedule here, folks. Mark Benetti alongside you on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and on Hardhats-TV. Dylan Ritchie still on the mound for Post 22, and he starts off with a first pitch ball to Nick Seaman. 1-0. Seaman 0 for 1 with a strikeout against Ritchie. And the 1-0, a called strike inside, and it's 1-1. 7, 8, and 9 due up for Stillwater, a combined 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Hardhats up 8-4. Bottom of the 4th. Next pitch is a breaking ball just low. 2-1 now to Seaman. Richie working fast because this game is on a 2-hour clock, I believe. That was the final ruling between these coaches, just so they could get back on schedule. Next pitch is fouled. But Richie made the catch off the deflection as well, but I don't believe that counts as an out, even though it was a stellar effort fielding, of course. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count here to Seaman. Imagine if that did count. That would have been a play you'd probably never see again. And the 2-2 caught him looking. Strike 3 with a breaking pitch. That's the second time a backwards K is registered by Seaman's name. 4th strikeout of the game here for Richie. And his second catching a batter window shopping. 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom of the 4th. That'll bring us to Noah Potter, the left fielder. Potter also 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And his first pitch misses the zone. It's 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count. Empty base path for Potter here in the bottom half of the 4th. 8-4, the Hardhats lead. 1-0. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air. Foul territory. Caldwell coming over from first, makes the catch in front of his own dugout for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for Stillwater here in the bottom half of the 4th. That'll bring us to Twanson Dufresne. Dufresne 0 for 1 with a fly out to right. This is an inning where the Hardhats really need to lock it down with 2 outs because a lot of Stillwater's offense has come with 2 outs. All 4 of their runs have come with 2 outs. First pitch, swung on, ball is hit into center field, and King watches it drop in front of him for a base hit. That's the 3rd hit of the ball game here for Stillwater, and again, all of them have come with 2 outs. So the Hardhats need to lock it down later stages of the inning. Back to the top we go to Cody Vensky, who's already left the ballpark once, and he's come around to score twice. 1 for 1. He's also been walked. 8-4 is the Hardhats lead over Stillwater, but with this gentleman, that can change in one swing. First pitch. Breaking ball, called strike. 0-1 to Vensky. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. A man on first for Stillwater. Hardhats still up 8-4. Richie looking to close out this inning. His next pitch will be number 75. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed. 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Richie looking for that 5th strikeout. If he gets it, inning's over. 0-2 pitch. Just missed. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes now to the Stillwater backstopper. Ball and 2 strikes the count. Richie still looking for that 5th K. Peek over to first from the stretch. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses low, and Schmidt gets the block. Dufresne stays put on first, and the count evens at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Richie looks to first. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And there's K number 5 for Richie in the end of the 4th inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, and a man left on first for Stillwater. We've played 4 out of 7 innings of baseball, and Post 22's 8-4 lead is still intact. We'll take a step aside, folks, and when we come back, it's the top of the 5th inning and the bottom third of the order up for Post 22 here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Looking at the pitching spreads for Dylan Ritchie, his control and his efficiency has started to slowly come back. He ended up with 32 pitches in the first inning and since then has thrown 17, 16, and 13 in the next 3 innings. So his control much better as now we come to the top half of the 5th. He gets to rest for a bit. Whether he'll keep going or not, yet to be seen. Stillwater still has Zach Cowley on the mound in relief of Jay Hawes. Hawes came in and went 3 1/3 innings, 6 runs at the end of the day, all earned on 6 hits with a trio of strikeouts, 4 walks, and a hit batsman on 73 pitches. Cowley left the inning in relief he pitched in the top of the 4th with 10 pitches. So he's already double digits in. He'll see the bottom third of the order, and that's Holden Jackson, Ryan Schmidt, and Mason Messenger. Those 3 gentlemen are combined 1 for 4 with an RBI hit, a pair of strikeouts, and a run scored on a hit by pitch. Jackson 1 for 2. He has the ribby single out of those 3 gentlemen. And Cowley's first pitch, low and inside, 1-0. Holden Jackson called upon to play left in this game. 1-0. Called strike. Fastball right at his knees. It's 1-1. Ball and a strike now to Jackson. And the 1-1. Missed low and away. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 now the count. Holden Jackson, Ryan Schmidt, Mason Messenger slated to hit in that order. 2-1 to Jackson. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to left field. That ball has some legs, it's got the distance, and it has left the ballpark. Holden Jackson's second home run of the season. This one a solo jack over the left field wall, and Post 22's lead is now 9-4. Holden Jackson comes back to the dugout to a line of high fives. And the solo home run to lead off the top of the 5th will now bring us to Ryan Schmidt. 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a sac fly RBI under his belt. Cowley looks into Schmidt, full windup, and his first pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air. Shallow left field, coming in from short to make the catch on the play is McGinley, and that'll be out number 1. 1 down for the Hardhats on offense. Now we go to Mason Messenger. Messenger 0 for 1, popped out to his position at second and then was hit by a pitch. Came around to score 1 of 3 runs back in the top of the 4th. Post 22, a 9-4 lead. And the first pitch to Messenger, too far up high, 1-0. Post 22, it's 9 runs on 8 hits. In this ball game for Stillwater, it's 4 runs on 3 hits. Next pitch to Messenger misses too low, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. Every hit and every run scored by Stillwater in this matchup has all come with 2 outs. 2-0 to Messenger. Check swing, and the ball rolls to first. Frisch gets the stop at the bag, and his toss to Cowley covering over is in time. And that'll be out number 2. 3-1 in the book. 2 down for the Hardhats. Back to the top of the order we go to Connor King, who still has yet to register an at-bat. 3 plate appearances. He's walked twice, he's scored twice, and he's also laid down a sacrifice bunt. Empty base path for King. 2 outs, top of the 5th. The Hardhats up 9-4. And the first pitch, a breaking ball low and away. 1-0. If King's retired, 2, 3, and 4 are slated to hit for Stillwater. Novak, Gilbert, and Frisch. 1-0. Low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes to King. King came into this game for Post 22 with the lead in bases on balls. Here's his 2-0. Pitch is swung on and it's fouled. 2-1. King has walked, including today, 38 times. 2 balls and a strike his count. And here's the 2-1. Called strike. And the count evens up at 2-2. Two balls, two strikes to Connor King. And the 2-2 misses low and away. And the count goes full. Payoff pitch coming from Cali to King. Could keep the inning going. And the 3-2 is low and away for ball 4. And that is the third time in this ball game that Connor King has drawn a walk. That's now 39 walks on the season, leads the team. This one comes with 2 outs, and it'll bring up Matt Heggery with the man on first here in the top of the 5th. Post 22 up 9-4. The only run and only hit were Holden Jackson, a leadoff home run to start the frame. King leads off of first, and Cali's first pitch to Heggery is upstairs, 1-0. Heggery's 2 for 2, pair of singles, a walk, pair of runs scored. King leads off of first. And the 1-0. Outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Two 2-0 the count here to Heggery. Post 22 will have a doubleheader. Back-to-back games tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 and 5 Mountain Time. And the pitch is swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to shallow left. McGinley from short makes the catch. And that'll put an end to the inning. Post 22 gets a run on a hit. The solo jack from Holden Jackson. No errors charged to Stillwater with a man left on first. We've played 4.5 out of 7 innings of regulation, and Post 22's lead now stands at 9-4. We'll take a step aside, and when we return, it'll be the bottom half of the 5th. And Stillwater will send 2, 3, and 4 in the order up to face Dylan Ritchie. We'll be right back. Just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Mitchell Novak set to lead off here for Stillwater in the bottom of the 5th. Post 22 now trying to defend a 9-4 lead. And his first pitch, a called strike on a breaking ball. 0-1. Novak, Gilbert, and Frisch slated to hit for Stillwater. Novak 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out to short. 1-0, called strike at his knees. Fastball, 0-2. Ritchie looking for his 6th strikeout. It would be back-to-back dating to the end of the bottom of the 4th. 0-2, swung on, ball is hit foul. Third base side out of play. Count will hold at 0-2. Ritchie at 81 pitches. I'd be interested to see if he goes any further than this bottom half of the 5th. I guess it depends on how efficient he is. 0-2 again. Just missed. Ball and 2 strikes. He's on his 5th pitch of the at-bat. Came in with 78. He's about to throw 83. 1-2 pitch. Misses low and away, and the count evens up at 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Novak. Ritchie still on the mound for Post 22, but we don't know for how much longer. Hardhats have a 9-4 lead over Stillwater. Game 1 for them of pool play here in the Gopher Classic. 2-2. Fastball upstairs. Count goes full. Three balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And there is strikeout number 6 for Dylan Ritchie. 1 up, 1 down for Stillwater here in the bottom of the 5th, and that'll bring us to Drew Gilbert, the left-handed hitting center fielder. Gilbert 0 for 2 with a fly out to right and a fly out to left. First pitch. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air. Sky high. Ritchie on the mound. He's calling for it. And he makes the snag for out number 2. Not often you see a P1 in the book. But there it is. Pop 1. 2 up, 2 down, and now Frisch comes up for Stillwater. 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. Also a run scored to his credit. 2 down, bottom of the 5th. The Hardhats are still up 9-4 over Stillwater. And Ritchie's first pitch. Breaking ball, called strike. 0-1 to Frisch. Oh, 1. Called strike again, another breaking ball. 0-2. Ritchie gets his 7th K. It'll be his 3rd strikeout in his last 4 batters. 0-2. Breaking ball missed low. 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs. Ritchie sets and deals. Fastball high and away. 2-2. Post 22 up 9-4. Here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 outs. Empty base path here for Frisch. And the 2-2. Caught him looking. Strike 3. And that ends the inning for the first time for Post 22 on defense in 1-2-3 fashion. No runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. We've played 5 out of 7 innings of baseball, and Post 22's lead is still at 9-4. We'll take a step aside, and when we come back, Post 22's back on the offensive in the top of the 6th with Cooper Bowman, Jack Sorensen, and Jace Caldwell slated to hit on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. New pitcher on the mound for Stillwater to start off the top of the 6th. Nate Mazinik now comes up to take over for Zach Cowley. We're in the top of the 6th. Cowley went an inning and 2/3. And in his inning and 2/3, he allowed 2 hits, and he allowed 3 runs that were all earned. He did not strike anyone out. He hit a batter and walked 1. And he did it all on 27 pitches. So now Nate Mazinek takes over to take on Cooper Bowman, Jack Sorensen, and Jace Caldwell here in the top of the 6th. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Post 22 has a 9-4 lead over Stillwater. Game 1 of their stay here at the Gopher Classic. This is Stillwater's 2nd game of pool play. First pitch to Bowman is lined into left field. That's going to drop for a base hit, and it's going to go all the way to the warning track. Bowman turns on his jets. He rounds first, and he heads to second with a leadoff double. 9th hit of the ball game for Post 22. And that will bring up Jack Sorensen, the DH. He's been red hot today. 2 for 3, and every time he's hit, he's knocked in at least a run. 3 ribbies for him on the day, also a run scored and a 2-bagger under his belt. Mazanek's first pitch to Sorensen. Swung on, ball is hit high in the air to center field. Coming back on the play is Gilbert, and Gilbert makes the catch at the warning track. Bowman takes off, and he will head to third on the sequence. Sorensen, a well-hit ball, but Gilbert with even better fielding. 1 down for post 22, and Bowman 90 feet from home, and that'll bring up Jace Caldwell. Caldwell's 1 for 3, an RBI single and a pair of groundouts to short under his belt. Mazanec, looks in to get the sign, and his first pitch is behind Caldwell. It's 1-0. Ball and no strikes to count to Caldwell, and the pitch is fouled to the mesh behind home. 1-1. Ball and a strike to count as post 22 has a 9-4 lead here in the top of the 6th. 1 out and Bowman 90 feet from scoring a 10th run. And the 1-1 misses low and away. 2-1 now from Mazanec to Caldwell. Zach Sumption on deck, still looking for his first hit of the day. 2-1, swung on and missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count to Jace Caldwell. Mazanec looking for the first strikeout for Stillwater since the end of the top of the 3rd. 2-2 is a breaking ball low and away. Good eye from Caldwell, and the count goes full. 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes the count. And the pitch. Swung on. Ball is hit high in the air to left field. Gilbert's on the run towards the track. Makes the catch. Bowman's going to tag up, and he will sprint home. A sac fly RBI for Jace Caldwell. And post 22's lead now stands at 10-4 with 2 outs here at the top of the 6th. Sumption now comes up with an empty base path as Bowman comes in to score. A run on a hit so far in this inning for post 22. That puts them at 10 runs and 9 hits. First pitch to Sumption, swung on, ball is hit sky high in the air to shallow right. Coming in from right's Dufresne, and he makes the catch. That looked a little awkward, but he still hang on to it. And that will end the top half of the 6th. A run on a hit with no errors charged to Stillwater and no one left on the base path. We played 5.5 innings of baseball, and post 22 leads now stands at 10-4. We'll take a step aside, and when we come back, it's the bottom of the 6th inning. And Dylan Ritchie will go back to work. 91 pitches his count. We'll see how long he lasts. We'll be right back on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hard Hats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Post 22, 10-4 lead over Stillwater as we now come to the bottom half of the 6th. And Ritchie's first pitch, a breaking ball called strike. It's 0-1. And the next pitch, also a called strike. Just like that, McGinley leading off the inning for Stillwater, behind 0-2. And the 0-2 is low. Ball and 2 strikes now the count. Ball and 2 strikes from Ritchie. And the pitch. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to right center field. On the run is King and Sumption. They're unable to make the play. They'll get it into second, and it's a leadoff single for McGinley. That is the first hit Stillwater has in this ballgame that has not come with 2 outs. That'll bring us now to Hawes. Man on first. And the first pitch. Misses low. Schmidt tries to get the block. And staying put on first is McGinley, 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count. Next pitch a called strike and a breaking ball. It's 1-1. And check back to first, not there in time. One and 0 the count. As Ritchie back to it from the stretch. 1-1 is fouled right at home plate. Ball and 2 strikes now the count. One ball and 2 strikes. And Ritchie deals. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. There's K number 7 for Dylan Ritchie. One down with a man on first. And Ritchie sets. First pitch. That misses low, 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count, and the check not there. As Ritchie looks over to first. Nick Seaman, the second baseman, up. And here's a 1-0. Swung on, ball is chopped foul. And the count evens up at 1-1. Next pitch, a breaking ball up high. It'll be 2-1. 2 balls and a strike now the count here. As Dylan Ritchie sets against Nick Seaman. And the 2-1. Swung on, ball is hit to the mound. Ritchie to second for 1. First to 2. Got it. And that'll end the inning. 1-6-3 double play ends the bottom half of the 6th. No runs, a hit, no errors, no one left on the base path. 6 innings of baseball. And post 22 still has a 10-4 lead under their belt. We'll take a step aside, and when we come back, it's the 7th inning, the final one in regulation. Post 22 looking to close this one out with 7, 8, and 9 slated to hit. We'll be right back in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Sit. One inning separates the Hardhats from now and potentially their first win, as they are looking to seal the deal here against Stillwater in Game 1 of their stay here at the Gopher Classic. Numbers across the board through 6 innings. For Post 22, it's 10 runs on 9 hits, no errors on defense. And for Stillwater, it's 4 runs on 4 hits with no errors as well. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Olden Jackson, Ryan Schmidt, and Mason Messenger slated to hit, barring any substitutions. Mazanek's first pitch is behind Holden Jackson. 1-0 his starting count. Jackson is 2 for 3, a ribby single, and a solo home run under his belt, and the next pitch is low, 2-0. Schmidt on deck, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a sac fly RBI, and Messenger in the hole, 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch and a run scored. 2-0. Fouled. Behind home plate, it's 2-1. 2 balls and a strike to count now to Jackson. For the sake of our teardown time, folks, after this inning's over, we will not have a postgame. We'll just remind you of when the Hardhats are playing tomorrow. Maybe have an extended pregame if we have the time. And Jackson's next pitch is swung on and hit all the way into the corner and left. And he will lead off this inning with a double. Holden Jackson, have yourself a day. RBI single, a home run, a double, triple away from the cycle here on day 1 of the Gopher Classic. That'll bring up Ryan Schmidt, the catcher. Schmidt 0 for 2, a sac fly RBI, a strikeout, and a pop out to short on his stat line. Mazanek's first pitch is low for ball 1. 1-0. And the 1-0 is fouled behind home plate. 1-1. Post 22, up 10-4 here in the top of the 7th and final inning. And the 1-1 too far inside. 2 balls and a strike now to Schmidt. Ryan Schmidt looking for his first hit of the day. And it's 2-1. His check swung down the third baseline. Stop made on the play, and the throw to first is in time for out number 1. 1 down for the Hardhats with Jackson still standing on second. Or excuse me, heading over to third. He came over to third on the sequence. Messenger now up, a man 90 feet to his left. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. 10-4 is the Hardhats' lead. And the first pitch is outside the zone, 1-0. Messenger also looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch and a run scored. Mazanek still on the mound, the third pitcher used by Stillwater. And the 1-0 is a called strike. 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch. Called strike. Nice fastball there from Mazanek. It's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes. And Mazanek deals. Pitch is swung on, chop foul. And the count will hold at 1-2. Don't forget tomorrow, Post 22 will play at 2:30 and at 5, barring any delays in their action tomorrow. And here is the next pitch, and it hits him again. Mason Messenger hit with 1 out. It'll put men on the corners and bring up Connor King once again. So men on first and second. And now Connor King comes up. Still doesn't have a registered at-bat. He has walked 3 times and dropped a sacrifice. Men on each corner for him. And his first pitch is hit foul into the mesh right in front of me. He starts off 0-1. Post 22 again will take on their next opponent, 2:30. And 5 o'clock Rapid City time tomorrow. They'll play Chanhassen at 2:30 and Burnsville, the host, at 6. And the 0-1. Swung on, ball is hit high in the air, shallow left. And coming in from short to make the catch is McGinley. That'll be out number 2. 2 down, men on the corners. Brings up Matt Hegry, potentially the last offensive out for post 22. Hegry on the ball game is 2 for 3. Pair of singles, a walk, a pair of runs scored. And fouls off his first pitch. 0-1. Post 22 up 10-4 here in the top of the 7th. Their last chance to add offense. And the 0-1 too far inside to Hegry, and the count evens up at 1-1. Ball and a strike the count. Mazenek sets. 1-1 pitch. Swung on, ball's chopped to third. Stop made on the play, and the throw to first is over the head. Hegry safe. Scoring is Jackson, and advancing to third is Messenger. It's at E5, and the inning keeps going. And the Hardhats lead is now extended to 11-4. A 2-out error, and it keeps men on the corners and brings up Cooper Bowman. And now it looks like McGinley's going to come in from short, and he'll take over pitching. We'll be right back in just a few moments after he's done warming up on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Matt McGinley, the righty, will take over from short to pitch in place of Nate Mazenek. Post 22 has 1 hit in this inning and 10 overall in the ball game. He allowed 2 hits in relief and also allowed 2 runs that are both earned. Anything from this point on, though, is unearned because of the last error coming with 2 outs. Mazenek didn't strike anyone out, nor did he walk anyone, but he did hit a batter, and it came on 27 pitches. Cooper Bowman now comes up, take on his former shortstop counterpart. 1-0, his first pitch. Bowman batting 1,000 today. Pair of walks, ribby single, and a double. 3 runs scored. And his 1-0 is ripped high in the air to left field. Ball has some legs. It's got the distance, and it has left the ballpark. A 2-out, 3-run blast for Cooper Bowman, and the Hardhats lead is now 14-4. And that 2-out error proved insanely costly. 14-4 now, the Hardhats lead. That'll bring up Jack Sorensen with an empty base path and 2 outs. And first pitch. Check swing, but it's a called strike. 0-1. Sorensen didn't cross, but the umpire still signaled. No balls and a strike to count here to Sorensen. 2 for 4. 2 RBI hits, single and a double, 3 runs knocked in. He also scored one to his credit, flown out to center, and grounded into a double play. Ball and a strike now his count. And McGinley's pitch. Misses low. 2 balls and a strike. 4 runs in this inning on just 2 hits and an error. For post 22. The error going to Stillwater, of course. And the 2-1 is low. 3 balls and a strike now to Sorensen. Three and 1 the count as Sorensen steps in. And the pitch. Fouled. And the count will now roll full at 3-2. McGinley looking to get out of the inning so Stillwater can come to their last swings. Down 10 now going into the last out of the top of the 7th. And the payoff. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, but it's dropped. And the throw is not in time. And Sorensen safe, and the inning will keep going on the drop third strike. And now, Jace Caldwell comes up. And there's another blunder that keeps this going for Stillwater on defense. It's not necessarily an error. It was just he reached on a drop third strike. 2 opportunities to have ended the inning. There was an E5 on an overthrow to first. And then an actual strikeout. But strike 3 was dropped. First pitch is a ball to Caldwell. 1-0 to him. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI single and a sac fly RBI under his belt. In between that, 2 groundouts to short. Next pitch, swung on, ball's hit high in the air, right towards the line, right field, and foul territory, and the catch is not made. And so Caldwell gets a second life, narrow play, and it's 1-1. Sorensen goes back to first, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th, post 22 up 14-4. Caldwell steps back in. McGinley coming in from short to relieve. And the next pitch is low. 2 balls and a strike. McGinley's first batter was Cooper Bowman, and he gave up a 3-run blast over the left field wall. And the 2-1 swung on and hit to short. Stop is made on the play. Underhand toss to seconds in time. Nearly dropped, and that'll end it. So the 6-4 fielder's choice ends the inning. Post 22 adds another 4 runs on a pair of hits. An error charge to Stillwater, and a man left on the base path. Post 22, 3 outs away from starting off 1-0 in the Gopher Classic. We'll take a step aside and come right back in just a few moments with the bottom of the 7th here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Tad Sherbinsky is tasked with finishing off the ball game for Post 22. He takes over for Dylan Ritchie, who got off to a bit of a rocky start with his control, but then he locked it down right after that. He gave up 4 runs that were all earned on 4 hits. He walked 4, and he struck out 7 on 103 pitches. Sherbinsky now tasked with finishing off the ball game. Tad Sherbinsky comes in for his 14th appearance of the season and his 12th in relief. 6-0 record under his belt and 1 for 1 in save opportunities. 34 2/3 innings of work under his belt with a 3.43 ERA and 29 strikeouts to 11 walks. Nate Mazinek starts off against Szczerbiński. And Szczerbiński's first pitch is fouled off, 0-1. 14-4, the Hardhats lead. 3 outs away from ending this. 1-0 group play. Next pitch swung on and missed. 0-2 to Mazinek. Twanson Dufresne is on deck. Szczerbiński full windup. 0-2. Missed low. Ball and 2 strikes. Szczerbiński looking for his first K on just his first batter faced in this ball game. 1-2. Caught him looking. Strike 3. Hardhats are 2 outs away from a 1-0 start. And that's going to bring up Twanson Dufresne. Dufresne 1 for 2 with a 2-out single and a fly out to right. All but one hit for Stillwater in this ball game came with 2 outs. And the first pitch is high and inside, 1-0. And the 1-0 fouled off shortly after. Szczerbiński going right back to it. 1-1. Ball and a strike. Pitch. Missed low. 2 balls and a strike now from Szczerbiński to Dufresne. And here's the 2-1. Fastball up high. 3-1. Ted Szczerbiński got a strikeout on batter number 1. He's a pitch away from a walk on batter number 2. And the 3-1. Swung on, ball is flared to right. Sumption underneath it. Makes the catch. Out number 2. And the Hardhats are 1 out away from the win. Don't forget they'll play tomorrow at 2:30 Rapid City time against Chanhassen, and then they'll take on the host Burnsville right after that. That game is slated as of right now for 5 o'clock Rapid City time. Back to the top of the order. And the first pitch is low, 1-0. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Called strike. And the count evens at 1-1. Post 22 and out away from getting the win. And the next pitch is lined into left center field, and it's going to drop all the way to the wall. King comes in to field it on the hop. Nice throw into second. A little too high, and it's covered by Caldwell at first. A 2-out double. There's another 2-out hit for Stillwater. Game keeps going. And that will bring us to the 2 spot in the order. Szczerbiński's first pitch outside, 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count. With Drew Gilbert, the center fielder, on deck. And the 1-0 misses low, 2 balls, no strikes. Man on second, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Post 22 just trying to end it and get the win. 14-4 is their lead. 2-0. Fouled. And it rolls to the backstop, 2-1. Two balls and a strike from Szczerbiński. And he deals. Swung on. Ball is lined over the head of Bowman. Into left for a base hit. Jackson in to field it. And a 2-out single. That'll bring us to Drew Gilbert. Men on the corners now for Gilbert. Szczerbiński just trying to end it now. He got his first 2 outs. Still needs that last one. He surrendered 2 hits with 2 outs in this inning. And the first pitch is low, 1-0. All in, no strikes to count. And the pitch is swung on. Ball's hit to short. Bowman the stop, underhand toss to second in time. And that ends the ball game. Post 22 takes the win in Game 1 of pool play here at the Burnsville site of the 2018 Gopher Classic by a final score of 14-4. Well, tomorrow, folks, rather I should say later today, Rochester will take on the team from Green Bay right after this matchup. Following that, Green Bay will stay and then take on the host Burnsville in the nightcap. Post 22 tomorrow will take on Chanhassen at 2:30 Rapid City time. And then at 5 shortly after that, we'll take on the host in Burnsville as well. So they'll have the rest of the day to rest up and regroup. Hopefully the elements won't be a factor tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have more accurate lineups as well to make our broadcast that much better. Folks, with that being said, we're going to send you back to normal ESPN programming in lieu of a post-game show because our setup is quite interesting over here, to say the least. Thanks so much for joining us today while you could. We will see you tomorrow at 2:30 as Post 22 takes on Chanhassen, Game 2 of the Gopher Classic.